The following program is produced by the Tech Talk Radio Network.
Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd.
And I'm Justin Lemmy.
It's good to see you all. I gotta say we're a little sad because today will be Justin's last show.
Forever.
Oh, no. Actually, Justin is getting ready for a vacation.
We just caused like 5 car accidents, by the way.
No, not the Waterworld voice guy.
Sorry, we damaged your car. We are not held responsible.
Yeah. Well, you've got to be looking forward to this. I know I can't remember the last time I traveled internationally. And I've been to Australia. I've been to England, back, to the mother country. It's got to be exciting.
What do you consider the mother country, by the way? I'm curious.
England.
Because you're half Indian, half English, right?
Yeah.
So,
oh man, and I've got a story. I got a story for you guys today. But yes, my mom was born in Burma. I was born in England. So she met my dad there, and then we came here to the States. So
okay, so you consider England? What part of England?
It's a place called Bedfordshire. And it was cool. My sister was born in Luton, and there's a big zoo there.
Is your dad English?
He was, yes. He was actually born in Wales, but when he talked, he sounded like Michael Caine. He had that kind of British accent.
And how come you don't have? It was because you moved to the States.
I was two, but it was weird because growing up, when we would go on vacations together to Vegas, we came out here to Arizona, went to the Grand Canyon. I would start talking with that. That kind of sound that had the British sound. And anytime I'd go back and, spend time with my mom as well, my dad passed in 1984, it would be like I would start talking like her because she had a British accent as well. But yeah, it was a trip.
Do you have any natural Indian accent at all?
Oh, I do. Yes, I do. And it's so funny because people say to me, that some people find that offensive. No, I'm half Indian.
Yeah, sure.
And
you're allowed to do that.
I found out that my grandfather this week my great grandfather was actually born in India. So, not Burma, but India. So it is quite okay for me to do. But that's how my uncles all talked.
Yeah.
I remember one time I had really bad acne. Growing up, I was 15, 16.
We've all been there.
Well, yeah, my Uncle Ken showed up at the house, and first thing he looked at me, he says, "So what happened to your face?" And I looked at him and I said, and I had acne, and I realized what he was saying, and I looked at him and I said, "What happened to your hair?" It was gone. But yeah,
that shut him up real quick, right?
That did actually, yes. Going to Japan though. What do you what do you plan for technically? Because a lot of people always they're listening to this going, yeah, I want to make an international trip, or even just getting on a flight to Vegas or New York or wherever. What are some things you have to consider when you come to your laptop, to your tablets, to your smartphones?
I can go on for hours and hours about the tech that you want to do when you go to Japan, but there's two main things that I want to mention here. One is, when you go to Japan, now other countries are different. You have to look up your country, but in Japan, they only do 100 volt. So in America, it's 120, right? So I knew this back when I was, even in the military. You would buy electronics at the store, and they would say, there would be warning signs on these that would say, this is an American product. Be careful, using it outside of the military base. So the military base ups their voltage to 120. But when you live outside, you're at 100 volt. Now, what that means for electronics is that everything doesn't quite operate maybe as fast as advertised. You're talking about computers, right? You're talking about televisions. For instance, I know for a fact, I bought a brand new television and I lived outside the base. I plugged it in, turned it on. And I noticed, I'm like, wow, this is kind of laggy. Doesn't seem to be as quick as I would want it to be. And I thought it was just a bad television. No, It's just because it's operating off 100-volt, which I know there's going to be people out there who are going to say, wow, that's not that much of a difference. No, it's a little bit of a difference. There is. And especially when you come to computers and things like that, things don't operate as fast as they would. So I would just consider the fact that when you go to a foreign country, look up what their voltage is. Now, you're going to Europe, you're going to be on a different set of pretty much anywhere actually outside the United States. You're going to be on a different voltage than you would be inside the United States.
And it's not just the voltage, right? The frequency in the UK is 50 hertz. Here we're 60 hertz. So stuff just doesn't play nice.
Now, not only that, it's also the physical connections.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a lot of like if you're talking about a PC, it's going to have a 3-prong. In America, it's going to have a 3-prong adapter.
Right.
That only fits in America. You try to go to Europe and plug in your PC, it ain't going to work because their plugs are totally different.
Wow. Now, is that why sometimes in your kits, depending on where you're getting it from, you'll get something, it's got this weird looking 2-prong plug?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. No, exactly. Now that brings me to my second point. Now, my second point is something I actually just learned a couple days ago. When you go on an airplane that goes across international borders, most of the time, they will have electric outlets on each seat. Okay. Majority of those flights come from America. A majority of the people that are plugging things in are Americans.
Right.
So they're plugging in the 2-prong, not the 3-prong, but just the 2-prong standard, thing that you plug in like a cell phone charger. Those outlets are worn out because you have so many people every single day plugging things in, taking things out, plugging them back in, taking them back out. So when you try to plug in your device, it's probably just going to fall out of the socket because that socket is so worn out. So here's what I learned. Buy a Europe to America adapter. So when you go on the airplane, you're going to plug in with those 2-prong, like you said, Andy, those European 2-prong. You're going to plug into the European part of that airplane electrical outlet and then convert it into what you want to plug into. So that way your device doesn't just simply fall out of the socket.
Right.
Because nobody uses the European adapters on an American-based plane.
So you're going to get kind of a snugger fit.
Yeah, you're going to get, literally, you're going to get a snugger fit. So I am going to buy one of those European adapters and have that for the plane. So only other thing I can think of is, when I go on a plane, now this flight, we go direct from Japan or from Denver to Tokyo Narita. It's 12 hours.
That's not bad.
It's a long flight.
I got you beat. L.A. to New Zealand to Australia.
Oh, yeah. No.
20 hours.
Nope. Yeah. Never going to do that. Nope. I'm good. But anyway, so taking that 12-hour flight, I got to have stuff to do. So I'm bringing my Steam Deck, and I'm loading up on, Steam Deck games. Things that don't necessarily drain the battery too fast, but as long as I have it plugged in, it's fine.
Right.
The other thing I'm looking at is if my flight has Starlink.
Oh, yeah. Some planes are incorporating that now, right?
Yeah, a lot of the planes are incorporating Starlink. However, there is a website, and I'll have to see if I can find it during the break. Maybe it might be our website of the week, but there is a website somebody built that tells you if you're on a United flight, type in the flight number, and it will tell you if it has Starlink or not.
Oh, no, that's cool. Right.
The flight that I'm going to be on has less than a 1% chance.
Oh, that's
bummer.
Yeah, bummer.
Hey, look at it this way. You got to find the silver lining in everything. It's not Spirit, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy. Do you guys ever use the FlightAware app?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah, you see a plane flying. If you're listeners, if you're listening, you don't have the FlightAware app. It's very cool to have. You ever hear a plane and you want to see what it is? If it's non-military, generally you could pull it up and you can see they've been having an influx of the Spirit airline planes flying into Pinal Air Park. Otherwise, it's kind of like a mothball place. The planes go there. Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah. But now let me give you one. Let me give you one even better website. If you're just a plane spotter and you want to just know what's above you, adsb.org. It is better than FlightAware. Now, FlightAware is good if you want to check your flight, right? If you want to check my flight's on time or, when is my family coming in? Whatever. I get it. Like FlightAware. But FlightAware is just full of ads on the side and everything. ADS-B is straight up raw data. Shows you exactly what plane, whether it's commercial, private, military, experimental, any of those things. As long as they're broadcasting their transponder, it will show up on ADS-B.
And it just to clarify, it's not adsb.org, it's adsbexchange.com.
Sorry, thank you.
ADS-B Exchange. Is there a dash after?
Nope, just adsbexchange.com. Cool. Gives you live tracking. You'll be blown away when you zoom out and you see how many planes are actually in the air.
Have you ever seen that? Have you seen that site, Shawn, before?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I use it all the time.
Yeah. If you're watching our stream,
cool.
if you watch the video, I'm on ADS-B Exchange right now.
Oh,
and
my Lord.
I mean, this is just
jump
insane.
onto the site, people. Yeah.
This shows everything around you. And I'm zooming into Denver, obviously, because I want to see, because Denver's the third busiest airport in America.
Right.
So look at how many planes there are just right now in the sky.
Wow.
That's just over the U.S.
That's just over the U.S.
That is a little better than flight.
But what's cool about ADS-B is they will send you a kit with an antenna that you can run and plug in and submit data to them for better, more accurate tracking.
Yep.
And then you get some perks and free access to a couple things, but they will send you a kit that you can install at your house. There are some requirements you have to meet, but it's pretty cool.
You have to buy that kit from them, right?
I was going to say, you have the charger for that?
It depends on if you're in an area where there is limited connectivity. Like, it depends.
Yeah. All right.
So if I'm in Denver, I probably have to buy it because there's plenty of them around. This is Tucson right now.
This is Tucson. He's showing us Tucson. Where's everybody?
Yeah, exactly, right? Now, zoom out a little bit. Go to Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot.
That's true. That is really cool. I like it. We'll be sitting outside and we'll hear an airplane, and I'll say, because they used to make fun of me in high school because I was in Civil Air Patrol.
We still make fun of you.
I know, but I was in Civil Air Patrol, and I just loved airplanes. Baba Black Sheep was the best show on television, and I'd be out on the playground. We'd be taking our break or whatever, and they'd say, "Hey, Andy, what plane is that?" And I would listen, and I would be able to say, "Oh, that's DC-9. Or, that's an L-1011 or whatever," even just looking at it and stuff. And then the vintage aircraft that would fly around Orange County, we'd be able to pick those out. But it was just so much fun. Having a tool like this growing up would have been neat. So kids that like aviation, they may have some fun with this too.
Yeah, and this is also a mobile app. You can get this on a phone. You can pinpoint your location. Well, actually, as soon as you launch it on the phone, it knows your location. And it will show you everything that's around you. So if you see something in the sky, you're like, what is that? Launch the app on your phone. Boom. It'll tell you exactly what it is. It'll say what the tail number is, what the registration code is, what the altitude, what the speed, all that stuff.
That's
origin airport, destination airport, flight plan, etc.
Any kid that likes aviation or adult listening, they would probably find it to be pretty neat.
Absolutely. This is probably one of the best websites for aviation geeks.
So, all right, back to you going to Japan though. I'm wondering, so you take do you take your laptop with you when you go, or is it just?
Well, that was a topic of discussion between me and my wife. We decided that I wasn't going to bring my laptop with me. However, all of a sudden then she's like, "Oh, well, we're going to want to edit some photos and do all this stuff." And I'm like, "Okay, now I'm bringing my laptop."
Right. Now, will you have a problem charging it, though? If you get...
I'm bringing a converter. I'll bring a converter. Now, granted, the laptop's not going to run at full capacity. I mean, it's going to be decreased performance throughout the time because of the fact that it is requiring 120 volts. I'm only going to get 100 out of it. So it's going to be decreased performance, but I should still be able to edit photos, do whatever else I need to do on it while I'm there.
Are there any precautions is this something you take in your carry on? Do you have to pack it, or, what type of
you can't pack it. No, because it has a lithium ion battery. So no, you have to carry it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I'm on the plane, I'm not going to touch my laptop. First off, I don't have room. I'm not flying first class.
Right.
Although I would like to, I'll be sitting in coach, and I'll probably just have my Steam Deck and a couple, Jack and Cokes in front of me, and I'll be good.
It makes the flight go so much quicker.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
The Steam Deck, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
well, I mean, the Jack and Cokes help too, but
Well, that's cool. Now, Shawn, you had a busy week as well.
Shawn, it's been May is always busy. You guys know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You were doing some concert thing, and honestly, you showed me the setup, and I was pretty impressed by this. There are people that go to church services that listen, they go to concerts, put on by CPAC and all that stuff. You live streamed an 8-hour event?
Oh my God. It's more than that.
Is it?
It's 2 days. So they only live stream 2 days, but it's a multi-day chamber music competition.
Right.
So strings winds. It's the largest chamber winds competition in the world.
Yeah.
In terms of just volume.
What's it called again?
Fish Off.
Fish Off. All right.
It was founded and started here in South Bend, and it's affiliated with the university. They host it. They host the finals here every year. The semifinal. They host the whole competition here.
Yeah.
So on Saturday, we started live streaming at 8:30, and there was pretty much constant group. I mean, I think they went through 30 groups.
Right.
And so we were live from 8:30 till almost 8 p.m.
Oh, man.
So it was like 11 and a half hours.
Jeez.
And then Sunday, Mother's Day, was the finals. So it was the top 3, because there's a juniors category and then there's a seniors category. So juniors are pretty much kids that are in grade school to high school. And then the seniors group is college and up.
Right.
But all collegiate. You have to be in college. It's some of the top classical music talent at the collegiate and junior level in the world.
And coordinating like the live stream for this, is it like a really difficult task, or has it been made easier over the last 5 years?
Oh, streaming? Streaming this kind of stuff is incredibly easy now. The production value changes based on how much you want to put into it. We ran it so Notre Dame Studios typically handled the live streaming and the production for this. We did not do it this year. It got bid out to WNIT, which is the local PBS affiliate here in South Bend.
Oh, wow.
And I've worked on it every year since I've been at Notre Dame. So this was my 8th year doing Fish Off with Notre Dame Studios. Now, at varying levels, right? The first couple of years I was just doing engineering, just being the in-venue utility. So just sitting in the concert hall waiting for something to happen with the equipment or whatever. And then as time went on and they reduced the number of people they wanted on it to reduce cost, I ended up doing directing, technical directing, and then producing. This year I did all 3 for WNIT.
So they reached out to you and they said, "Hey, you've done this."
Oh, I reached out to them, to be honest.
Good. Yeah.
Because I like doing it. I like chamber music. I like classical music. I have a long breadth of history with classical music in my family, Caitlin's family. So classical music is important to me and it's something I enjoy. None of them at WNIT had done it. So they didn't know the format. They didn't know the routine. They didn't know the timing. They didn't know kind of the whole thing because it's kind of a rinse and repeat. It's been the same kind of format for the last couple of years. So I reached out and said, "Hey, I've done it. Here's some clips I did last year. Let me know what you think." They're like, "Yes, we want you."
Oh, very cool.
Wow, cool.
So I went in and did it. I thought I was just going to TD direct. I got dropped into it and they're like, "Oh, where do you want to set up these cameras? How do you want to do these interviews? How do you want to light this? How do you want to?" And I was like,
"Oh man,
all of a sudden you're executive producer."
I was like, I'm doing all of it. Got it. So I ended up doing not the front end producing, but I ended up was like the in-venue producer for the live stream. So I made sure it was on. I made sure that it was on time. I made sure.
I hope you got paid for this.
I did get paid for it.
Okay, good.
Good.
But again, I'm doing it because I liked it. And I like PBS and I support the model of PBS and the public education stuff. So I did it for a lot less than I could have paid. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
Came in not knowing what switcher I was using, what cameras I was getting. They're not set up to do remote broadcasting in the way that I do it at Notre Dame with sports. And, so there were some creature comforts that I didn't have. And thankfully I had 2 camera operators that work with us a lot at Notre Dame. And they were rock solid. And the guys from WNIT were great. And everything went fine.
He sent us the video, the 8-hour video. And I like Justin's comment. do I have to watch all of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
I
was
sent.
like, cool, but I'm not watching all 8 hours of this.
So I just sent them for those of you that are listening, I just sent them a link to the YouTube video, which you can timestamp to a specific time, which I set to the final performance.
When you timestamp that, I started watching it, and it was an empty auditorium for about 30 seconds. And that is all my attention span could handle. And I was like, cool, an empty auditorium. Awesome. Great job, Shawn. You could have timestamped it better.
I probably could have timestamped it to
Right to the performance.
It must have been. I must have timestamped it in between the break.
And I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Oh, too bad. I'm glad your TikTok addiction is getting you.
What happens? You watch too much TikTok, Justin.
Yeah, right.
It's funny because I showed Gloria. I was listening to it and watching that clip that you pay a timestamp, and I finally got into the music portion of it. And
see, keyword, finally.
Yeah,
keyword, finally.
Gloria said to me, she said, "What's that instrument?" It's like a long tube that was like really big.
It's the bassoon.
Right? Is it a bassoon? I told her it was a didgeridoo.
So it's funny you mentioned that because over the years I've had camera operators that had known nothing about classical music, right? And I'm directing, and like I said, I've got a lot of classical music experience in my life. And
I know where this is going.
We're doing it. It's a saxophone quartet. So you have a tenor saxophone, an alto, a bari, and a soprano.
Right.
And I'm just like, camera one, get the soprano. And they're just like panning around trying to find it.
Where's Tony?
And
Where's Tony?
And I was like, camera two, get the bari. And they're like, they key in quietly, which one's that one? And I'm like, it's the big one. And they're like, which big one? And I was like,
okay.
I ended up having to give them a little bit more of a description of this is what a bari saxophone looks like. This is what a bassoon looks like. This is an oboe. This is an English horn. This is a French horn. Like, great experience. Fishoff.org if you want to check it out.
Oh, cool.
Andy,
How do you
will post Andy.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you just type in fish off, it's probably gonna end up being a fish tournament.
It's not what my brother-in-law thought I was doing, which was shooting a fishing competition.
Well, when you say fish off, I mean it sounds like you're going fishing.
How do you spell it?
FISCHOFF.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. I got to tell you about the rabbit hole I fell down this week. Also, some great savings when it comes to shopping. And we got a couple of listener questions. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Find us on the web at techtalkradio.com. We'll be right back.
Now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
Y'all remember the story about the woman in Ohio, the 91-year-old woman we talked about that was playing
the gamer granny?
Yeah, the one that got the SWAT called on her or something.
Bubble Pop, the Bubble Pop gamer. I just got to say, I started playing Bubble Pop, and it's so addictive.
Bubble Pop.
It's, we talk about video games. Yeah, we play. So Bubble Pop Origin is available in your app store. After the story about this woman playing, I'm thinking, what would cause this woman to be so into playing Bubble Pop? It's like, what is that thing called? ASMR? What is that?
The satisfying sounds.
Yeah, sounds and
with no talking. It's just the sounds of whatever you're doing.
Yeah, it's not like Candy Crush. If you played Candy Crush ever, good. That game. This Bubble Pop Origin game. It's like so addictive. And I'll play like 3 or 4 levels and then I'll put it away. But I find myself like an hour later taking the phone out and playing it again.
Yeah.
And it gives you ads and it wants you to spend money. But I haven't spun. Look
what?
I'm downloading it right now.
Oh,
he's getting it. I swear you're gonna. If it's one of those games that when you get a few moments to yourself, you just want to play the game.
And folks, just to let you know, this is the last show that Shawn will be on for a long time as well, because he's now downloading Bubble Pop.
That's what he'll be playing. All right, I got to tell you a story. But first, let me ask you: have you guys gone into genealogy at all? I mean, the internet has kind of made it a little easier.
I know Shawn has.
Shawn, you have, right?
I tried it. I got a certain amount of time, but I didn't go that far back.
Right?
So I didn't, but my brother did. My brother probably 7 or 8 years ago did a full genealogy, like went back into Germany and got like our family coat of arms, like from a gazillion years ago.
Pretty sure the
and
Earth wasn't around a gazillion years ago.
Whatever.
But go ahead.
But no, so my brother did a full and got
Right.
paid for like a summary and stuff, which was pretty cool to see.
So we mentioned earlier Burma, right? And if you know the history of Burma, you know, it's a country right now that they had a military coup and pretty much everything's locked down. In the 50s, when the government fell, the first time people scattered. And we have relatives that went to England, relatives that went to Australia. I had an uncle that went to France. They just got out of Burma. And one thing I knew about Burma is I knew my grandfather he was a pharmacist, a chemist. For being in Burma, Francis is not a very common name. You have names like Fu or Xin or very Chinese sounding names, but theirs was Francis. So I just thought that was kind of cool. Last week, I don't know why. I have photos, family photos of the house. They had a beautiful house. During the World War II occupation of Japan, Japan occupied Burma as well. You know, there were stories about the house and they've sheltered British pilots and the whole bit. But I just decided to go a Google Foo. And, you know, the thing is, I did a Google Foo about 5 years ago, and I typed in my, grandfather's name. And for sale on eBay was a letter from the Francis Medical Hall to some person in England. Somebody was selling a postmarked letter from the Francis Medical Hall. I thought that's my kin. That's my grandfather that sent that letter. It was sold for 175 pounds British on eBay. Like, why would somebody want that? I always thought that was kind of neat. So the other day I thought, well, here we are. We're 5 years later now onto the internet. What's out there now? Because as people post stuff, and I do a search and I find this photo. And it's a colored photo, a retouched photo. That's this guy that's on Facebook does these photos from Ceylon, India, Burma, Pakistan, all those areas that over the years he has corrected. So I went ahead and I do the search and this picture pops up. And I'm reading the picture and it said mercantile store, 1902. Shows these people standing in the store. It's a Cadbury sign above them, and they're in the traditional Burmese garb. And it said photographer, John Francis. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm looking, going, wait a minute. And so I'm looking at this thinking, wait, how could it be? My grandfather would have been 4 at the time, right? So I start doing a deep dive and I go to Family Search and I start looking. And apparently, I don't know what was up with my family, but my great-grandfather was John Lazarus Francis. And John Lazarus Francis apparently was a photographer. And he owned a merchandise store. And he would go around and take photos. And I was like,
approximately what time?
This was the early 1900s. Okay. All right. So John L. Francis. But here's the crazy thing. He would name his kids John Francis. He had 2 sons and named them both John. Which
how does that work?
Exactly. They both have different middle names.
Hey, 1, come over here. 2, go to your room.
Thing 1, thing 2.
I'm looking at this picture.
Thing 1 and 2, yeah.
This is really kind of cool. So a friend requested the guy that has his page. He's got a lot of followers. A lot of people like it. And I was reading some of the comments. And I see a comment. And it says, this is my great-grandfather. I would love to get more information about this. And I'm thinking, wait, what? And it's this woman on there named Angela. Now, I have a cousin named Angela, but that didn't have the same last name. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm looking at it. So I sent her a note. I said, hi, cousin. Just, what the heck? So she sent me a note back. And she says, are you related to this? Because that's my great-grandfather. And I said, he's mine too. So it turns out he is, her and I become friends and we start talking. She's exchanging photos with me. I'm exchanging photos with her. Her grandfather was the other John. My grandfather was John A. Hers was John B. We share the same great-grandfather. So now I'm learning about a whole different family I didn't even know about. My mom had never.
Wow.
I think she had mentioned something, but I
Wait,
never.
were they Burmese or were they English or?
No, they were Burmese, and then I found out my grandfather, great grandfather, was born in India, Hyderabad or something like that. So I mean, just being online and just seeing this info, I've been able to reconnect now and see photos I didn't know existed.
That's so cool.
That's cool.
And it was there was some qualifying she did. She sent me when she asked me about being related. She said, "Oh, so your mom is this person?" She said, "Sister to so and so," and I'm like, "No, those are not the names of the people." And I think she was qualifying me to make sure I wasn't some kind of because you got to be careful when you're giving out information, And so I was able to confirm that and all of that.
Trying to get her mom's maiden name so you could hack her credit.
And stuff like that happens. So again, I was able to, we were able to qualify each other. Now we are sharing pictures we've both never seen. She sent me one and I'm like, oh, there's my grandfather. There's my grandmother. And I sent her one. She's like, I think that's my Aunt Patsy in the back. So because they would gather at the house. So it's been a really awesome journey. And now I'm finding out about genealogy research. I'm finding out, the family search one, ancestry.com. But I'm thinking, should I be a little concerned about putting info up there? Because I'm not on there. I found out that my sister, who's no longer with us, she's on there, but I'm not showing, nor is my other sister. And, are you opening yourself up when you put up information on these databases?
Always are.
Always are.
Yeah. Wow.
Shawn?
So,
I mean, I don't know what my brother put on when he was searching for this, but
yeah. Have you looked to see if you're up there?
I have not.
Yeah.
I mean, just do your due diligence. Be a little bit careful. Maybe ask for some sort of a proof,
Yeah.
If you're talking to this person who you think is your cousin,
right.
One thing you could say is, hey, write my name on a piece of paper and take a photo of you next to it.
Oh, that's interesting too.
And yeah, AI might still be able to do something like that, maybe. Yeah. But at least it's one step closer to understanding whether or not you're talking to the real person. Or do like they did back in the way old days. Call them.
Yeah.
Ask them to get on a phone call.
Right. But
because
even then,
there's no other way. No, there's ways around that. Like, especially if you're talking to somebody and there's a good long delay before they respond to every single one of your questions.
And typing.
Well, I mean, that you could be talking to a voice chat bot, but still, if there's a long delay before they respond to your question, chances are you're talking to an AI. But if you talk to somebody and you're like, oh, hey, remember yesterday? And they're like, oh, yeah, right. Yes, of course. Like right away, you're probably talking to a real person. Right. But yeah, I mean, there's certain things you got to do, but I understand what you're saying. And honestly, it sounds legit to me, but you got to be careful. You have to be careful. In this day and age, you got to be careful with everything you do online.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's been a great experience. So again, hopefully I'll have more photos and maybe I'll even share a couple of those, which brings me up to a good point, Shawn, as somebody that has kept track of your family photos and digitized them. How do you feel about when somebody gets a photo that is circa 1930, 1920, that has been, obviously weathered through time? People are now taking them and putting them into Gemini or Nano Banana and fixing them. Is that the right way to leave our legacy? Or do you think it's better to have just those original pictures and that's it?
I mean, I went through and cleaned all of the slides and scanned them, and only did color correction, lighting, exposure correction,
right,
and a little bit of AI denoising.
Have you tried colorizing them, or were they all?
Well, I just did Lightroom. I didn't do any AI coloring, or I didn't tell AI to do anything with them. I just scanned them. I went through the whole library. I think it was like 4,200 or something, around 4,200 individual slides that I scanned.
Wow.
And then categorized them. And then as I was categorizing them, made copies of ones that I wanted to. That I was like, oh, this was cool. I'll edit this one to make it look better. And I ended up with like 450 edited keeps finals that I kept that I turned into a book for my grandparents. And no, I get it. AI is nice.
Yeah.
I've been dabbling with it a little bit in Photoshop, to remove backgrounds or remove images and things like that. And it's really fast and it works really well.
It's gotten better too over the last couple of years.
It has, but
yeah.
I don't in my personal artistic philosophy, don't see a place for AI in my art. I don't.
Justin, how about you when it comes to preserving family photos?
I'm kind of with Shawn on it. Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends.
Isn't there something about holding a Polaroid? I mean,
well, yeah, but I mean, if I have a really damaged photo and I go to Reddit and I say there's plenty of subreddits that will actually restore photos using Photoshop. The problem is a lot of those, if you got a really, really damaged photo, it's going to cost you a couple $100.
Yep.
To have a professional restore it. If you're not in the budget for that, fine. Go use AI. See how good AI can do. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe it'll turn out great. But
you're not selling it. It's going to be in your own personal wall or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. And that's why I look at it. Like, I don't look at it and say, oh, I can only see my grandpa because AI redid this. No, I'm not going to look at it like that. I'm going to look at it like, hey, I got this photo and I didn't have to pay somebody $500 for their time. I just had to use AI for 30 seconds and it restored it. Okay, I'm good.
Shawn, you were going to make a point about Polaroid.
No, Justin mentioned that there are subreddits for Photoshop requests. You can, and it's a great resource. You can say, here's a picture, please do this to it.
Yeah.
And people will say, all right, for $5, I did it. Give me $5. You can have the original.
Yeah.
So I used it to clean up a picture of Caitlin's grandma to put up at her funeral. They wanted a nice like headshot for her funeral, and I paid somebody $5 to crop her out of a really nice image and put a black background on it. It turned out really good. So there's good resources for that. You can also request no AI. Now it's the honesty game here at that point, right? Whether or not they did use AI or not, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. If I say please don't use AI, it's a very simple request. But again, could I have done it? I tried using background remover. I tried doing it in Photoshop myself, and it looked terrible every time. So in 30 minutes, I had somebody on the internet do it, and it looked 100 times better than I would have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I have restored photos using AI, and I've been very pleased with the result.
I have too, but I've also done the old school Wacom tablet photo restoration. I took a photo of 1912 of my stepfather, his family. Well, he was in the military, and fixed a photo, and it was great. The other day, I found that picture that I had corrected using Photoshop, and I remember it taking several weeks to do. And I was thinking, let's see how fast I can do it and how accurate it is with AI, but I haven't done it yet. Hey, we got to take another quick break. We come back. We've got more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Send us an X at Tech Talk Radio. We'll be right back.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
So during the break, Andy asked me to read a listener question, and I'm going to read it because I have the same problem.
Oh.
The question is from Sharon in Green Valley. She writes, once in a while I'll be online, and some of the people I see will post a scene from a movie that looks really good. It takes me forever to find out the name of the movie, and then I fall down a rabbit hole looking for where I can watch it. Is there an easier way? Sharon, if you find it, I want to know. Because if I'm on YouTube Shorts and I see a movie I haven't seen, or I'm like, ooh, I know that's an old movie, but I can't remember the name of it. I don't know. There is a subreddit called The Tip of My Tongue, which you can submit requests like, this is the genre, this is an actor, this is the scene, and somebody will immediately know what it is. But that takes time, and you never know what you're going to get back. But I don't know. There's not a Shazam for movies.
No.
So,
well, actually, no. Actually, there is. IMDb, Internet Movie Database, is pretty good. They're pretty accurate. Oh, they're kind of accurate. I interviewed Tony Curtis once, and I remember asking him, "So, Tony, you were in this movie?" And he goes, "No." He goes, "Where'd you get that?" And I told him IMDb, and he said they're always wrong, but I think they fixed it since then. But IMDb
really.
is owned by Amazon. What you can do is you go in there, you type the actor that you see in a movie, and it may give you a list of the movies it shows that they were in.
Have you guys ever heard? Well, obviously, you've heard of 6 Degrees of Separation.
Yeah,
that's
the
a famous
Bacon
I don't know what you call it, philosophy or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's related to each other within 6 degrees, right?
Yeah, but the whole Kevin Bacon one is different.
Have you heard of the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon?
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
So if you're listening to this and you're like, what are you talking about? Kevin Bacon is an actor.
Right.
This is a famous internet game where actually it was even before the internet, where you can name an actor.
Right.
And every single actor you name can be connected to Kevin Bacon
Within
6 or 7 steps. I think it's 7 degrees. Yeah, 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon within 7 steps. Like, for instance, George Clooney to somebody, and then somebody to somebody else, and then somebody was in this one, and that person was in this one with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, it's crazy because Eric Roberts is the actor with the most amount of screen credits. He's also been on this show before on Tech Talk Radio. But no, it's true but you would think, but it does work that way.
Yeah.
Most actors will find them, they've been in a movie, even in a small part. They worked with somebody who was one of the big stars in that movie, and they've got that credit.
so it is called the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
6 degrees.
6 degrees.
And they repeatedly try to find the shortest path that leads to the prolific actor named Kevin Bacon, which is a reference to the 6 Degrees of Separation, a concept that posts that 2 people on Earth are 6 or fewer acquaintances linked apart.
Is there a website that will just automatically connect you to Kevin Bacon?
I bet you there is.
I'm sure.
We should Google search that one. I also wanted to mention for Sharon Real Good.
The oracleofbacon.org.
The oracleofbacon.org.
Good God, you're so fast with your Google.
Kevin Bacon 2 blank. Find the link.
You're kidding me. All right, wait. Do one in here. Type in Kevin Bacon, Doris, because I worked on a film with Doris Roberts. So put Doris Roberts in there and see what comes up.
Remember Doris Roberts?
Yeah, she played. If you remember,
right, I'm on a website called 6DOB, 6 degrees
two
of bacon.
links. Two links.
2 links to Doris Roberts. You're kidding me.
Kevin
Peter
Bacon
Boyle?
Kevin Bacon was in The Big Picture with Elliot Gould, who was in Little Murders with Doris Roberts.
Oh, look at that.
God.
So I'm 3 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon.
Wait,
Then,
how?
right? Well, because I worked on that film with Doris Roberts.
No, you had to be in the film. It doesn't matter about the crew.
No, I was in it. I'm in it. No, I'm in it. It's called Actor, a documentary, and she's in it too. So I'm actually in it. I'm animated, but I'm in it.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
That
Still
doesn't
in it. I was animated, but I'm in it. All right. So I don't know. Real Good, REELGOOD. I do like this site. When you're looking for that name of a movie, maybe you know who's in it. You can go to Real Good. You can find out where or when that movie's going to be playing. But if you really want to find out more on the movie itself, imdb.com. That's a really great one to get information about movies. So that was a good question from Sharon. What?
So I just typed in random on this 6 degrees of bacon.org.
Yeah.
I typed in Morgan Freeman, which was probably a stupid one to put in.
That's going to be easy, right?
One.
And what was it? What was he in with Kevin Bacon?
Morgan Freeman, who was in the Eastwood Directs The Untold Story with Kevin Bacon.
Okay, here's one. See if you can do this without even looking.
Okay.
John Belushi.
John Belushi?
John Belushi.
Okay, well, John Belushi was in the Blues Brothers with Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, he was, but that's not the closest.
Well,
the closest link.
Can I work this out?
Come on, let's see if you can do this here.
Sean, help me here. It's you and me against him.
Kevin Bacon, John Belushi.
How do you link them together?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't even know.
You want me to give it up?
What's
No.
his name? I'm trying to think of the guy's name.
Put
I
it
know.
in.
God,
give it
dude, it's a one-off.
It's a one-off. It is.
Animal House.
Animal House is correct. That Kevin Bacon's first released film. And then, of course, it was Friday the 13th. But yeah, Kevin Bacon was in Animal House.
Was he like an extra?
He was a soldier who gets flattened at the end of the movie. If you remember where they go over him and he's all flat. And then he went to the screening at Animal House and nobody recognized him. They didn't let him in to the screening. He had to sit in the back of the theater with everybody else.
That's funny.
So there's your 1 degree of separation. All right. We had another question too. And I like this one from Ryan. You guys have experience with this. Is it time to cut the cord? What should I consider before getting out of Cox Cable? Not a slam on Cox Cable.
If you haven't cut the cord already, what are you waiting for?
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
I mean,
people get worried about change, you know?
Yeah, but you're stuck with, if you have cable or dish, you're stuck with the agreements that Dish or your cable provider have with your local news stations, and they can be like, nah, we want you to pay more to retransmit, and you're out.
Yeah.
So,
Shawn, I understand what you're saying, and yes, that is becoming more and more common, but I have to interject here. YouTube TV has done the exact same thing. If that's the route.
Well, I know. No, I know. I agree with that.
That's the route you're going. YouTube TV is basically online cable. If that's the route you're going. Now, if you're talking about just Netflix, Paramount, whatever, okay, fine, whatever. But if you're talking about, we should put a caveat. If you're trying to go from standard cable to something like YouTube TV, you're going to have those exact same problems.
Correct.
Okay. But if he wants to get away from, maybe he's on Cox Cable. Maybe he's got a fiber provider that could provide it. And he wants to but he doesn't want to be paying for those channels. They say out of 200 channels, we only at the most watch 17.
Yeah.
That's it.
Here's the thing. Back about, let's say, I don't know, 10 years ago, everybody was talking about ditching cable, cutting the cord. We're going streaming. And now it's almost like we've come full circle because we're coming back to, like, okay, most people have Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, Paramount, Peacock, AMC,
Discovery
Hallmark, for Andy's sake.
Yes,
I mean, everything's got their own streaming service. So when you add all of those up, you're paying $19 here, $12 there, $15 here, $9.99 here. You're paying the exact same amount or more for a cable subscription. So we've kind of come full circle. Now, 10 years ago, this would have made sense. You're like, wait, why am I paying $250 a month for cable when I can do $19.99 and have everything I want?
Netflix was, for their lowest tier at that point, was around $9 a month.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And now their lowest tier is $19.99.
32. It's ridiculous. It's
lowest tier.
So is this why fast television, which is free ad-supported television, is becoming so popular with people who buy Roku TVs or Roku devices because they buy, and then they get the ads.
You're never going to get away from ads.
Unless you pay.
Yeah.
No, even if you pay.
I'm going to say, even if you pay. I mean, even if you pay, you still get ads.
I pay over $100 a month for YouTube TV, and I still have to watch ads.
I pay for Netflix. I get the ads on Netflix. That's the same thing. But I mean, is that because Roku is they say it's the biggest streaming channel that's out there right now because it's free, basically. If you got a Roku TV or Roku device, and fast television means it's free, but it's ad supported. So you'd be watching, if you feel like watching Bewitched or watching shows that they're saying they give to Roku, but there's ads in them, then they get the money for the ads.
Sure.
So
yeah.
A lot of times I like to watch a show while I eat, whether it's lunch at work or lunch at home. I'll sit down with my meal and I'll start a show. If I have to sit through a 2.5 minute ad break, I'm moving to something else.
Yeah.
Right.
I avoid Amazon Prime for that reason.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why I'm still paying for it. The only thing I'm paying for is because you get better shipping on stuff.
Yeah.
But they're serving you ads on your video.
Right.
It's annoying. I hate it. There's no way around it. That's just the nature of television.
All right, we got to take a quick break. We come back. We've got more Tech Talk Radio for you as we'll wrap up the show, and we'll say farewell to Justin. How long is this trip going to be?
Oh, my good Lord. It's just for a couple weeks. It's not like I'm going away forever.
And that we'll put in our request for stuff he has to bring back for us. That's more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Konnichiwa. Wait, no, that means welcome.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Stephen First, flounder from Animal House, and Fear from Babylon 5, and you're listening to Tech Talk Radio.
All right, I got to tell you, I found a deal while shopping. I feel like somebody on QVC, all right? But here's the deal. I'm in Walmart the other day. I know Walmart, right? You know, Walmart started getting in. Walmart started getting into selling hardware, you know, for building your own. And I walked by their glass case and I looked and I did a double take. I got myself, and I'm showing it on the camera right now, the Tough Gaming Z90
PC building. I thought you were like DIY, like building your own house or something.
No, not that one yet. Plus Wi-Fi. I don't have the Tough Gaming board. I have another one of the Z790s. This normally board, I have seen it for $240. I picked this board up for $100.
Rollback prices, baby.
$100 for clearance, unopened. It's not a return for that motherboard. And
year was that released?
I think it came out 2 years ago.
Okay,
right?
that could explain a little bit. Yeah,
and got myself an i9. This is the 14900K Intel i9. This is marked down from $449 down to $150.
That's a
deal.
Steal.
I couldn't pass it up. Then I went to go find some memory, and now I can't do anything.
Of course not. No.
Memory is kind of through the roof now. Mm-hmm. All right, Shawn, you want to tell us really quick about this Canvas?
Yeah, so last week at work, we got a urgent cybersecurity notice from the IT department saying Canvas is down. Canvas is a online platform that is used by teachers, students around the world. Right. Approximately 9,000 or more institutions used it, was completely out. And this was during finals. And the email said teachers and faculty should resort to using manual methods to release grades and collect homework.
Wow.
So can you only imagine during finals or during you're trying to get your grades in so you can determine whether or not you're going to graduate or just move on or get your final grade so you know, and the whole system is just down. A hacking group called Shiny Hunters breached systems connected to Canvas. It's an online, like I said, it's an online learning platform connected to thousands and thousands of schools. So it was it was down for most of one day for us, but some schools are either still down or haven't regained full access to their Canvas platforms. I mean, this is not just universities. This is grade school systems. This was colleges, other academic institutions. And it's just during literally the worst time they could have, well, the best time for them, I think, because I'm sure some of these schools went, well, what's the ransom? We'll pay it. Because you're in finals and it's just so disruptive. And so what do you do at that point, right? You're so in this, you don't have a backup plan for posting stuff, do you? I mean, I wouldn't if I was relying on but this is, again, the whole, everything's in the cloud and you're at risk. I feel like every day there's a new, this is hacked, that's hacked, this is vulnerable, that's hacked, this is hacked. Justin's computer's running malware.
Yeah.
Wait,
got to keep up on that, definitely. And, be careful of what you're clicking on and stuff within an organization. All right. So, Justin, you're going to be out for a few weeks, going to Japan.
Yep.
Everybody's putting a request. I don't know what I would want.
You're not getting anything.
Nothing at all. No.
I love you, but you're not getting, dude. I have such a big list of things that people want. Honestly, I was just mentioning during the break, we're bringing 4 large suitcases with us to Japan. Only one of them is going to have anything in it, because when we come back, all 4 of these large suitcases are going to be full to the brim, full of gifts and things like that.
Wow. That's going to be cool, though.
If I do happen to find something interesting, that might be small, I might be able to tuck it away for you guys. But,
will you do us a favor, though? Take a couple of pictures and we can post them on our blog of Justin's travels. So make them techie,
well,
though.
I'm going to take some pictures with that new Tamron lens for this Sony camera right here.
Right.
And I will send you some pictures of a couple places. We're going to go to Osaka. We're also going to go to Hiroshima.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And see that. So I'll take some pictures of that stuff and I'll send it to you.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. That wraps up this week's Tech Talk Radio. Have a great week. Shawn will be back with us next week.
Yep.
In the meantime, I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Have yourselves a great week. We'll see you next time.